think I'm settled now. Okay, last time I spoke to you we talked about the Yamas, which we're going to keep doing because before we can talk about anything else we need to get the rules about living. You can't teach or do anything if you don't know what you're trying to achieve. You can't paint a picture unless you know where the edges of the canvas are. You get the painting all wrong. We spoke last time about AHIMSA, against HIMSA, the line, AHIMSA. It's about not killing. A way to think about that too is to say, just for today, I will refrain from killing. And one aspect of killing that we didn't talk about was you killing you. Not with a hypodermic or anything like that, though it's not a good idea. It's about the fact that you talk to yourself more than anybody else talks to you. Be careful what you say. If you keep telling yourself you're hopeless and you're never going to be any good and you won't be this and you can't be that, chances are that is making a big difference to your possibility of advancement in anything. So continuously judging yourself against others all the time is just not a clever thing to do. I'm kind of like a grocer often. I'm always weighing and always judging. So it's something that I personally have to work on all the time, and I think most of us do, although few of us know that we should. When we're judging somebody else, it's usually because that quality is in us. We did teacher training today, and you know, I adore teacher training. It's what I love to do best in all the world, is teach people who really, really, really want to know, are really using the material, are advancing and changing in their lives, and they want to get better and better and better. And they make you know that they do. But there's always one in the class who knows much better than me, and who wants to take over and teach the class. I might say something and then that person will take over and talk to the class. And because they're not the teacher and they don't have the background, the information that they're imparting is not true or accurate or good and shouldn't be acted upon, but they say it with such authority and almost like they're teaching that others take them seriously. And I say to myself, you know, I'm not really happy about that. And then I say to myself, what makes me really not happy about that? And I can tell you exactly. It's because that person is me. That person is how I was for years and years and years. I try not to be that person, but I know that that person is me. I know that person wants to teach all the time, wants to be the only person in the room that knows, wants to be right, wants people to like her, wants to be respected for all the good things I am and do. So, you know, that's something that's really deep inside of me that I have to work on. So, can I release the judgment and let things be exactly as they are? Well, yeah, I can release the judgment, but I can't let things be exactly as they are because I'm the teacher and I have to retain control. So, whilst I teach within the guidelines of the Yamas, there are certain situations where I have to retake control, and I don't like doing that, and I'm sure the student doesn't like me to do it either, and I'm sure when it was done to me when I was younger I didn't like it either. And I can think of times when it was done, so I'm carrying those around still. But you have to learn, don't you, to kind of counter I have to learn to be more gentle, and students or people like that have to learn to sit back. I know it happens in any group, whether you're out to lunch or whatever you're doing. There's always somebody in the group who has to lead the group no matter what. And that used to be me. When I'm the teacher, I have to lead the group. But there's always somebody who wants to lead the group better than me. I remember when I was 9, I wanted to be a Sunday school teacher. So I went to the minister and I said, I want to teach Sunday school. And he said, do you understand you're 9? And I said, yeah, I understand I'm 9. And he said, well, you can't teach Sunday school when you're 9. I said, why not? He said, what makes you think you can teach Sunday school? I said, because I could teach it better than any of your current teachers. They don't know what they're doing. So you see, I thought at 9 that I knew everything. I knew a lot, but I didn't know everything. I knew enough to teach Sunday school, I can tell you that, because I actually discovered where the bishop was and appealed to him, and he allowed me to do it. So yes, I could teach at 9. It was good. So if I stopped that kind of judging, what changes would I make in my interactions with people? Well, when I don't judge people, I tend to try and work in their worlds, no matter how difficult I find their worlds to be. And I try and keep a neutral persona when I do it. One time I was working as a dog's body, I suppose you could call it, in a home for alcoholics. It wasn't a home, it was a guest house. They wouldn't be allowed to function today. It was shocking. And I tried to bring a little light into it anyway. And I handed out, one of my jobs was handing out meals in the evening, you know, serving it up. And we had this big long table, and I stood on one side and the meal was in the middle, and I spooned out bits of food. And this particular guy used to come in, and he would sort of get close to me, and he was so disgusting. He was, oh, dreadful. He was overweight and he was unwashed, and when he turned around you could tell that he hadn't got much of a clue about wiping himself and pulling his pants up, and he smoked and he drank. So the whole picture was just deafeningly dreadful to the senses. And anyway, what happened this particular day, I wasn't feeling very well, and he came up to me, and I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't have time to breathe in and serve him, and he leaned right across to me, so he was about this far away, and the smell just about made my hair fall out. And he said, "You're not very happy today." And I said, "That's correct." And he said, "Well, I hope you get happy soon, because your smile is the only thing that I come in for at night time. Your smile is what I wait for all day." And I thought to myself, oh, here I am, I've been here how many months, I don't know, and I've been serving these people meals. I don't know any of them. I've just been serving and thinking, oh, this is the stinky one, and this is the wet one, and this is the terrible one, and this is the one. And so I have been judging. So actually they are better than me. They have been coming up, and they have been talking to me, and they have been approaching me as a human being, but I haven't been doing that at all. So all the work that I have done is negative in comparison to the damage that has been happening karmically. So I went after service was finished, I went and sat with them. And that was quite interesting because I learned about them as people, which was really fantastic. And then I said to them, what would you really like me to do? What would you like? Is there something that you would really like doing that nobody does for you that you think I could do? And they said, really? And I said, yes. Imagining something pretty and wonderful. And they, pick me flowers or make me some curtains or something. And they said, we would like you to clean the toilets regularly. Well, I hadn't been actually to the toilets. I had passed them on occasions quickly because they were so disgusting. Because nobody looked after them, and the reason the guys were dirty was because they didn't stay in there long enough to clean up after themselves. And when they felt sick, and alcoholics often do, they didn't often make it to the bowl or the hand basin. It just happened on the floor and it was left there. So I had said that I would do this, so I did it. And I cleaned the toilets. Well, the first time I did it, I just was, if I'd had a full bodysuit, and I would have put it on, and a thing over the front of the face. But I did have a mask, and I did have industrial gloves, and I did have my hair securely tied back, and I did have loads of moisturizer on, and gumboots, and I hosed them out before I did anything. It was, I can still imagine, I can still think it was shocking, shocking, shocking. But that was killing people. Going to those toilets were demeaning and not allowing them to progress. By cleaning the toilets, I was hopefully helping them become human beings. It wasn't good. But it was the most wonderful job in the world for me. It was very good for me and has made a lot of difference to my life, I think, doing that small task. I never would have imagined I could have done it, but I did it. I promised them I would do it, and I did it. I said, well, is there anything I can do? And they said, this is what we want, and so I did it. What skills could I use for me to stop judging me? Well, if I do those kind of things in my life, if I reverse some of my attitudes, then I can stop me judging me. Then I use a different kind of a measurement to judge my actions. And as teachers, we have to do that all the time. We have to change the measurement. We have to look at ourselves differently. We have to be different people in front of our class. It's easy to be the Joan of Arc or the Gandhi or the Martin Luther King or whoever you're thinking you are at the time. And it's hard to be a better you. So remember, if you're not in a space of judgment, then there's a great possibility that you are in the space of compassion, which is a very good place to be. But we haven't got round to Yama number 2 yet. You'll have to wait for that one. Namaste.